kidnapped? If so, then welcome to The Verdict, where we stand on facts over beliefs. Court is in session.
Court is in session. Order, 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 order in the court. What it do, y'all? It's your brother, man, from the motherland, coming to you guys live from the NY, back with another one of our Oral D Pod, which presents today's verdict, facts over belief show. And for those that don't know, I am him, Junes, the Honorable June, Mr. NBIC, representative of the Alkebulan kidnap all across the world. I am the representative. You understand? And I definitely want to give nothing but glory and honor and respect to the creators, to their ancestors, and to all you guys, my fellow comrades, that allows me to do what I do best. And that is to do what? Keep foots on heathens, Hebrews, heathenites, and all religious, powerful people's necks. Are you dumb or are you dumb? Round of applause for that. Yeah, man, you know I'm right on cue. Apologies for my punching bag. This is my punching bag. When I'm frustrated, I knock it out. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, we are here. I want to thank everybody, you know, those that are woken to see another day. Definitely give all glory to the creators, but definitely want to thank you guys for everybody that's, you know, going through the motions and, you know, having another opportunity to get right and do right and help those, the fellow comrades, the fellow Alkebulan kidnapped, realize that they are kidnapped, that they were kidnapped and still being kept away from the motherland. And we're going to keep until we can. No more. But definitely today's going to be a phenomenal one, man. You know, the question is the kingdom of Africa and the Bible, what are the connections? Are they connected? Is there any truth behind it? So today I'm going to play a video for you guys, and this video is going to just show the kingdoms of Africa. And after that, I want you guys to have your questions so I can give you these answers. Have the questions so I can give you these answers. That will be at the end of the show. But today we're going to play a video. The video is the kingdom of Africa, the kingdoms. Definitely want to give a shout out to Made in History. They are the ones that uploaded the video. I'm just kindly using their work for educational purposes. So again, please shout them out, you know what I'm saying? Check them out. Subscribe to their channel. They're doing phenomenal work over there. You know, I like supporting the underdogs, you know what I'm saying? And they're the underdogs and they're doing what they're supposed to do. So shout out to them, right? But we're gonna have the conversation for us. Okay, we're gonna play this video. I hope you guys got your popcorn. I will be popping up in and out. I have to do that. I tell you guys this all the time. For educational and copyright reasonings, I have to pop up in and out. Okay, so without further ado, let's let this video play through. Why is it taking so long?
Any continent. This isn't surprising, as Africa is the second biggest continent after Asia, and presently has the largest number of countries. To the north, the coast which touches the Mediterranean Sea is full of mountains. Just to the south of that is the largest non-polar desert on the planet, the Sahara.
I'm gonna turn it up. I'm gonna turn it up just a little bit so you guys can, you know what I'm saying, can hear it a little bit better. But I'm gonna turn it up. Yeah, like I said, I'm popping up in and out, you heard? So just stay tuned for that. Let's go.
Sahara is a very important division in Africa, making history in sub-Saharan Africa much different than in the north. This region came to be dominated by the civilizations that would form around the Nile River Valley. To the south, the sub-Saharan is made up of a variety of terrain. In the hump of Africa, grasslands slowly develop as you head south, which then turn into tropical rain forests. This region is home to the Niger River, a very important river valley in African history, home to numerous civilizations. Moving further south, we find the rainforests of the Congo Basin, where flows the mighty Congo River. In the east, Africa touches the Indian Ocean, and terrain is more mountainous, with plateaus and large lakes. We believe the cradle of humankind is located in this region of modern-day Kenya. In the south of Africa, there are dry deserts like in Namibia, but also hills and plateaus. This area is home to some of the most valuable mineral resources.
So they believe that the kingdom or the creation of civilization started in Kenya. Now, me personally, I don't agree to that. I believe that the first man either came from the Congo region or Sub-Sahara, down below. Probably where they changed the name to Johannesburg and where Kimberley mines and those areas. That's just my belief. I believe that humanity started from there just based on the animals, just based on the minerals, and just based on the people. You know what I'm saying? Like tall, fulfilled, put together. It's just completed down there. That's the reason why I say that. But let us continue.
In the world. We aren't exactly certain where agriculture. In the Sahel, the area between the Sahara and the Savannah. The region was more green and fertile than it is today. Though cultivation was easy, the suboptimal soil and scarce rainfall made more intensive farming impossible, so populations remained relatively stable. This wasn't a problem, as they relied mainly on hunting and gathering. It was only after the Sahara became drier, turning into a desert, that some populations migrated south, deeper into the grasslands, spreading their farming techniques, leading to more diverse crops, like tropical fruits, which are only able to grow in wetter climates. Others migrated towards the Nile River, which became a cradle of civilization. This eventually coalesced into ancient Egypt, a region which we had previously discussed in our last mega-documentary. Egypt is usually studied alongside the Mediterranean or Near East. But perhaps above all else, it was truly.
Now, I was doing some studies earlier today, and they tried, when you read how they put the Biblos together, well, the historical context outside of the Biblos or anything religious, you will see that they're trying to like literally divide Africa. Like they really try to make it seem like the Northern Africans was doing something different than the Southern Africans, and the Southern Africans was different from the West and the East. And a lot of you guys aren't aware that all of this really, transpired through, slavery, colonialism, you know what I'm saying, the religious aspects that came along with that. You feel me? These people brought this ideology and literally started dividing. It really started with the Arabs, and then it made its way to Christianity, and then, the rest is history. But at the same time, you guys need to understand that, we was all connected as one. You know what I mean? Like, we all was connected as one. We all got different languages. That's one thing that I would always not question from the Biblos is the changing of the tongues. Like he got his own language, she got his own language. You know what I'm saying? Like that. But at the same time, it's still unworthy, still not trustworthy. So it is what it is. But let us continue. I just wanted to just throw that out there.
African. This is evidenced by its neighbors, right? Could only work within their own perspectives, influenced by ever-present ideologies. The most influential was the backdrop of biblical stories, many of these involving Egypt. The result was European archaeologists and historians removing Egypt from Africa to place them in the stories of the Near East, often depicting
everything I just said. that they're the ones that's trying to separate the ideologies between like Egypt and the upper regions of Africa to the lower. It's literally trying to separate. It's like higher class, lower class. We have knowledge, you guys don't. And it's pathetic. You feel me? I just wanted to throw that out there, and it's crazy how this is being played. Let us continue.
With European features, along with other regions mentioned in the Bible. The Nubians were regarded as darker-skinned and out of the biblical sphere, so had always taken a backseat to Egypt. Nubia has often been overlooked because of Egypt's dominance in the historical narrative, but the region of Nubia, today Sudan, also developed their civilization around the same Nile River with which the Egyptians prospered. Around 2500 BCE, the Kerma culture would form in Upper Nubia. After growing in size and prominence, they would expand northwards into Lower Nubia on the border of their great rivals. The city of Kerma itself was only home to around 2,000 Nubians, but most others lived rurally in smaller villages. The most stunning Kerma structures were built of mud bricks. These were called defufas. They were either temples or chapels for funerals. They were built promoting air circulation, and the bricks kept the interior nice and cool. Egypt often underestimated the Nubians, but this wasn't the Egypt of old. Egypt was in a weakened state during the Second Intermediate Period. The Hyksos had encroached from the north, and now Nubia from the south. After expelling the Hyksos, the Egyptian New Kingdom would launch campaigns into Nubia, which they now referred to as Kush. The Nubian army was said to possess stunningly skilled archers. The Egyptians previously called the region Taseti, meaning land of the bow. By 1500 BCE, Nubia was absorbed, and their capital of Kerma was destroyed. While Western narrative is that Nubia inherited most of their culture from Egypt, there was always a mutual exchange of ideas. This period saw that exchange ramped up tenfold. Elites would intermarry, and ceremonies involving the sun god Amun would take place. Though Nubia was annexed, they would continue to fight back for centuries. Perhaps one of these rebellions would succeed. But there was no need to find out. The Bronze Age collapse dismantled New Kingdom Egypt, sending the once great Egyptian empire spiraling down.
Now, I'm gonna do further investigation into finding out what really caused Egypt to fall, because I don't believe that story that Israelites or etc. left and then that happened, etc. etc. I don't believe that. I don't. There's much more to the story that meets the eye, and my job is to find that out. So I'm gonna look into that, onto how Egypt fell. What was the cause of Egypt? Did those famines really, or so-called plagues, did they really play a part in the collapse and the demise of Egypt and Ethiopia? We'll find out.
After Egypt finally disintegrated, Nubia had its own chance for glory. Around 1070 BCE, with the capital eventually moving to Napta. After Kerma, this marked a second golden age for Nubia. In the 700s BCE, Egypt was still fragmented from the fallout of the Bronze Age collapse, with Libyan invaders.
Now again, people, this is the kingdoms that was in Africa. And of course, we're going to start with Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Egypt is the one that everybody knows about. So just bear with the brother. He's bringing forth phenomenal work, and he's saying things that I'm saying. But this is the kingdoms of Africa. Just want to throw that out there. Let us continue.
Making a mockery of Egypt's buildings and customs. A firm believer in the Egyptian religion himself, King Kushite of Kush undertook a campaign to invade Egypt and drive off these invaders. While there is no depiction of this man, he succeeded in taking the religious center of Thebes, and was even greeted as a liberator by the locals. He would then set his sights north, to conquer the rest of Egypt. But it was not to be. Kushite died and was buried with his predecessor, Alara. The conquest of Egypt would then fall to Kushite's son, King Pi. Around 745 BCE, King Pi would invade a divided Egypt, and succeed, completing the conquest and becoming their first pharaoh of the 25th dynasty.
I am a king. Divine emanation, living image of a tomb. Who came forth from the womb, adorned as a ruler, of whom those greater than he were afraid. Whose father knew, and whose mother recognized that he would rule. Meriaman Pianki.
Ruling from Thebes and Memphis, this dynasty would be known as the Nubian dynasty, encompassing a wider Kushite Empire. One of Pi's sons, Taharqa, became the most influential pharaoh of this dynasty. Under his rule, Egypt became as prosperous as it had been during its New Kingdom period. Religion was promoted, and art restored and created. Temples and monuments were commissioned as well. Pyramid construction began again, a practice not seen since the Middle Kingdom. Taharqa and others of the dynasty are sometimes depicted with distinct headdresses. The typical headdress involves a uraeus, or cobra, representing rulership. Taharqas possessed two cobras, most likely signifying rulership of both Egypt and Nubia. The Kushites also developed their own script, derived from the Egyptian. This was the Meroitic alphabet. The Kushite success caught the eye of a new and expanding superpower in the Near East. The Neo-Assyrian Empire was lapping up chunks of land in the Middle East, and was on the march towards Egypt. In Judah, King Hezekiah implored the Kush for help to stave off the Assyrians, so the king...
Now, you guys are gonna see this, and you're gonna see the black brothers gonna say, man, see, they're trying to promote the European. Listen, brothers and sisters. For the 1000th time, the Hebrew Israelites have never changed color, appearance, image, none of that. These are the ones. We do not know what that is. That is not who we are. They introduced themselves to us through that book. Wake up. Please. Get up out of that. Snap out of it. We don't got no time. Let us continue.
Sent an army. Jerusalem was saved from the siege, and merely became a tribute state of Assyria, instead of fully annexed. Furious, the Neo-Assyrians would then attack Egypt herself, to crush this kingdom of Kush, once and for all. The Nubians fought well, fending off the Assyrians over and over, even after all seemed lost. In 664 BCE though, the Kushites were finally defeated after the sack of Thebes. The Neo-Assyrians, under King Ashurbanipal, had access to vast amounts of iron weapons, which wore down the Nubians, forcing a retreat. The Assyrians withdrew as well, but installed native puppet rulers as Egypt's 26th dynasty. Their civilization would live on though. By the 500s BCE, the capital was moved to Meroe, or Merui, further away from Egypt, but more importantly, expanded southwards, to a region with sufficient rainfall, and easy access to iron, and other resources. Here, the Nubians would flourish once again. Their most significant structures were their pyramids. While smaller and differently shaped than their Egyptian counterparts, some would still stand an impressive 30 meters tall, just shy of 100 feet. Even more impressive is that just a single burial area in Meroe contains more pyramids than in the entirety of Egypt. Yet, not many have heard of this land of pyramids. The Nubians would live on through the classical period as well, often under female rulers called Kandake. As the kingdom of Kush flourished in Nubia for centuries, a rival would be growing to the southeast, in present-day Ethiopia. By the 1st century CE, the kingdom of Aksum was founded here, by people claiming to be descendants of the kingdom of Saba, which biblical sources call Sheba, whose queen possesses great wealth in the story. Saba, situated across the Red Sea on the tip of the Arabian Peninsula, became a wealthy.
And I just want to throw this out there. I will be giving an explanation on this Ethiopian ideology. This, Ethiopia is the homeland of where Christianity originated from way before Jesus, and all of this nonsense. And the Bible, that's, the oldest Bible, is a black man's Bible. I'm going to put an end to all of that. Okay, but somebody remind me. Just remind me, and I'm gonna put an end to that, because this, I'm gonna show you something.
Trading kingdom as an intermediary between the Mediterranean and India. There still isn't evidence that the founders of Aksum were actual descendants, or whether they just adopted some of their culture. The kingdom of Saba began to decline by the turn of the millennium, and dissolved by the 3rd century. Aksum survived though, relying on their own fortuitous trading location between the Mediterranean and the East. Aksum mainly exported ivory, perfumes, and slaves, and brought in metal works, wine, and olive oil. They would eventually get into an economic war with their Nubian neighbors over the ivory trade, and in 330, they attacked and conquered the Nubian capital, a final blow to the already declining Nubians. The kingdom of Kush disintegrated into different smaller states, and the kingdom of Aksum, later taking on the name Ethiopia, became the region's hegemonic power, so much in fact, that the Iranian philosopher Mani regarded Aksum as one of the 4 great powers of the world, along with Sassanid Persia, the Roman Empire, and China. While they had originally practiced the religion of the kingdom of Saba, they would adopt a new official religion in the mid-300s. Frumentius was a Christian born in Byzantine Tyre, and grew up in Aksum as a
Byzantine. That's what he wanted to say. Byzantine. Do you see who's becoming the faces of Ethiopia? This is a Byzantine. Hence, your Abba Garmia, he is also a Byzantine king who denounced his position to become a monk. Okay? To become a monk, to then teach this Christianity ideology to the Alkebulan people. Okay? This is prior to the kidnapping, or should I say, yes, this is prior. Or this is after. I think it's prior. Or it might be around the same time. Who knows? But that's the truth. Let's continue.
slave. Before the Aksumite king's death, he freed from missionaries to Aksum. He was appointed as bishop and converted the new king to Christianity, and Frumentius became the founder of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Frumentius,
and he's the one that summons for Abba, and I forgot his name. And guess what? His name before it was turned to Abba Garmia was a Hebrew name. So y'all gonna also say that that's us too. It's a Hebrew, German, Jew, their language name. Nothing to do with African. Greek was one of those. Yeah. Go look it up. Let us continue.
and Aksum retained close ties with the Church of Alexandria, just to their north, in Byzantine Egypt. Tradition held that Aksum was the home of the Ark of the Covenant.
You heard him say it, Byzantine Egypt. They the ones with the Romans, they took it over. They took it over. And the first thing that they knew what they had to do was convert the so-called religion remove spirituality and feed them the STD, a spiritual transmitted disease, and convert them into Judaism or Hebrewism or Christianity or Islam or any other religion that has an image that don't look like the Alkebulan and the Alkebulan kidnap. Are you dumb or are you dumb? Let us continue.
The sacred chest covered in gold, where lay the 2 tablets with the 10. In this region of Africa, Nubia and Aksum became so prominent because of the trading routes from the Indian Ocean to the Mediterranean. Most of the rest of Africa saw different patterns that shaped their cultural development. In North Africa, during the ancient period, Carthage was a huge hub for commerce and trade. Trading beyond the Sahara was conducted by the Berbers, a people we mentioned last episode. The Berbers were part of the Afro-Asiatic language family, like the ancient Egyptian, the Cushitic in the Horn of Africa, and the Semitic languages which came to dominate the Arabian Peninsula and the Levant. These pastoralists transported goods from North Africa to the Sub-Saharan, and vice versa. While salt, gold, copper, and slaves moved north, food and manufactured wares would move south. Once the camel was introduced to the Sahara from the Arabian Peninsula, the trans-Saharan trade truly prospered, as the camels, which could store their own nutritional resources to survive in the desert, were far superior transport units to the donkey which had previously been used. In North Africa, a group possibly descended from Iron Age Berbers were known to the Romans as the Garamantes, and resided in Libya.
And it's crazy, the Garamantes and the Byzantine king who turned monk was named Garmia. I don't know if it's a reach. You guys may think it's a reach, but this is just other evidence. You know, this is just other evidence into understanding to the confusion that's being done. But let's continue. Let's continue.
Forming a small kingdom. Though the earliest records date from the 5th century BCE, they emerged as a regional power in the 100 CE, prospering from the trans-Saharan trading routes. The Garamantes are most known for developing the first urban society in a major desert not centered near a river. They did this using a complex irrigation technique known as the Qanat system, similar to the one used in Persia. The society declined heavily in the 400s once the deserts got drier and water became more scarce. In West Africa, agricultural communities would emerge based on the domestication of millet. There is evidence of this as far back as 2000 BCE. These would become urban centers and flourished because of the variation of environments in Western Africa. The desert nomads to the north could produce salts, the farmers on the fertile coast could provide meats and grain, the hunters along the Niger River provided fish, and those in the forests provided meats and furs. The 2 most prominent urban centers were of the Tashit culture. Dar Tashit and Walata, in present-day Mauritania. The Soninke people, a Mande-speaking ethnic group, are thought to be responsible for beginning these centers. By around 300 BCE, these centers would decline and eventually become abandoned. We would see similar pottery in the later Ghana Empire, so the culture did survive. Later, around 300 BCE, Geni Geno, in Mali, was settled, marked by homes and living quarters built with dried mud. By 250 BCE, Geni Geno became a huge urban center itself. The bricks were built by mixing mud with straw and letting it ferment for a period of time, making the building materials thick and tough, but also malleable. Once the mud bricks were placed, they would be covered in mud plaster. This kept the insides cool. To the south, in the Jos Plateau of central Nigeria, the Nok culture would emerge, around 1500 BCE. They were known for their lifelike terracotta figures of humans and animals. By 200 CE, however, this culture disappeared, but the Nok is thought to have influenced later figurines of the Yoruba. Central and Southern Africa would start to see new migrants from the second millennium BCE.
I just want to just throw it out there that, you notice that you don't, as you go further down, you don't have no understanding or conversation of biblical talks. Like, when you see what's going on in the beginning, Egypt and that, and the Rome's and this, you can have an argument and say, look, this is a biblical narrative. But when you get close into the Western region, you don't hear none of these stories. But, let us continue.
Originating in Cameroon, Proto-Bantu speakers, part of the Niger-Congo language family, would branch off, kickstarting a millennia-long migration. The western branch would migrate southwards, following the rivers until reaching Angola. The eastern group would first settle near the Great Lakes region of Africa. Then they traveled south.
But hold up. I was just drinking water. Went down the wrong. You know what? Pause. Super sheets. That was disgusting. Bad business. But you know what? You notice that it's telling us that they started from the west and they migrated into these various locations. I got something that I want to show you guys, which is the 7 faces or spiritual deities that the Alkebulan people looked into. And that's going to be homework for you guys. But like I said, we're going to finish watching this. But please remind me so I can bring this out and we could, we could have something to talk about. My bad, something's on my mind.
East in different phases. These phases were not done within a lifetime. Bantu occupied all of Central and most of Southern Africa, displacing or assimilating the nomadic and pastoralist tribes along the way.
It looks like it says the original Bantu homeland is in Cameroon, Benin, similar to the same area where the people was also taken. I just find it ironic, but we'll continue. Let's go.
In the east, they would encounter both Cushitic and Nilotic speakers. Cushitic speakers were from the Afroasiatic language family, the same family as the Semitics from the Near East, and the Egyptian language. Nilotic speakers were from the Nilo-Saharan language family, the same family as the Nubian language. As the Bantu speakers of Central Africa spread to the south, they encountered a people who were still able to thrive through hunting and gathering and herding. Relations between the Bantu and these people were relatively peaceful, and many would get absorbed into the Bantu society and culture, which relied primarily on agriculture. The two main groups of these indigenous Africans were the Kwaikwen and the San, collectively known as the Khoisan. Both shared similar languages, primarily from 3 language families, and are known for their click consonants. The Kwaikwen were primarily nomadic pastoralist herders, maintaining large herds of cattle indigenous to their region. The San were hunter-gatherers who lived in small communities and have been called Bushmen in the past. By the 1st century, the African East Coast was established as part of a trading network. It was around this time, a sailor from Roman Alexandria, who remains unknown, wrote a detailed account of his voyages down the coast to the Strait of Madagascar. This document was called the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, and provided descriptions of the people and settlements encountered. The Periplus also describes trading opportunities with regions of the Persian Gulf, Arabian Sea, and Indian Ocean. The port of Rapta, which could be located in present-day Tanzania, was described as a trading metropolis, exporting valuable ivory, rhinoceros horns, and tortoise shells, while importing glass, grains, and weapons. Beyond this lay the
So just an FYI, before the coming of Christopher Columbus, before the coming of Marco Polo and all of the stories that you guys hear over the years. We've been been traveling, riding on ships. We've been doing trades. We've been doing this. The fact that this is how these people knew about Africa is because we was trading. Okay? You have they got that good. Nah, let me go see that for myself. And just like every other gangster movie, right? They learn your tactics. They know where you rest at. They know your sweet spots. They know your hard spots. They know where your strength is at. And they disarmed, they took down. And then we fell, right? And our strong suit has always been our spirituality and being connected to the creators of this universe, being one with our ancestors, being one with our with the deities that represent the creators. You understand? We just had everything, and they took that away when they gave us this Euro-Christian ideology. But that's neither here nor there. We're gonna continue with the kingdoms of Africa. Let us continue.
Strait of Madagascar, which led to the southern tip of Africa, but was known for East African trade with the Indian Ocean, but the monsoon winds made it fast, easy, and one of the most efficient trading routes in the world. It's possible that around the year 250, Malay traders from Southeast Asia, trading in spices like cinnamon, began a settlement on the uninhabited island of Madagascar, with their indigenous laborers from Borneo. Since the region was so isolated, megafauna from the prehistoric period still roamed on the island, but are now extinct. Bantu migrants from the African mainland would eventually make it to the island around year 1000. After years of mixing, the Malagasy people and language would emerge, a blend of Austronesian and East African. After Africa's ancient period, the medieval period would be mixed into the sphere of a new religion, that of Islam. Though Islam, the religion, managed to permeate into sub-Saharan Africa, the armies of Islam never managed to break through, only completing direct control of North Africa. Before Islam, Africa had rich traditions of its own. While there was no unified religion, Africans believed in pantheism, which is a belief in one creator God, who is responsible for creation, but other minor gods lived throughout the world as well. Nyame was a supreme deity of the Akan people of Ghana, who gave birth to more minor gods. One of these sons was the rainmaker. Another god was responsible for sunshine. The afterlife was viewed by how well a lineage group or clan honors their ancestors. The surviving members of a clan needed to perform the correct rituals to keep their
I'm trying to tell you. It's a requirement that you honor your ancestors. It is not what you're told here in the West, that when somebody dies, it is what it is. You know, kumbaya, don't give praise, that's bad luck. Don't worship the dead, that's bad luck. They tell you don't worship the dead, but you guys are worshiping Jesus every day. Oh, my bad, he was born again, he was risen, he was resurrected. So he was the only one that happened to. Gotcha.
ancestors' souls from disappearing. In return, it was thought the souls could influence their lives both positively and negatively, so best to keep them happy. Once Islam arrived, these beliefs didn't go away, despite being at odds with each other. One common thread was the acceptance of a single supreme deity, but Islam did not accept the worship of lesser deities and spirits, and the existence of a priest class. Furthermore, Islam was more rigid in its gender roles, and there was often separation between men and women in Islamic society.
Again, and now take all of this, take all of that you just see on the screen, and you combine that with every other religion. because there's gender roles in Christianity, there's gender roles in Islam, there's gender roles in Judaism, there's gender roles in the Bible where is man supreme, male dominant, female have no say, female have no power. All females are supposed to do is lay there and get in trouble and cause men to die. See, people don't question these things, but these are all these things. The supreme deity, as you can see, they got the separation of men and women. We didn't know what that was. The supreme deity has always been male, female. It's a divine order. Male, female. Then came the lesser deities. Then came us. Excuse me. Then came the ancestors. Then came us. You see how they got four? The creators, the deities like Ogun, the ancestors, which is your priest class, right? This is the ancestors, and then you got us. Everything was in line. Let us continue.
While African society was more lenient with their relationships and friendship circles, into a unique form of African Islam. But how exactly did Islam first get to Africa? We touched on the rise of Islam last episode. Focusing on Africa, after the newly Islamized Arabs consolidated power in their peninsula, the Rashidans, the first of the major caliphates, went on a lightning-quick campaign of expansion. In 641, they toppled the 200-year Byzantine rule in Egypt. Still,
now, I don't want to run it back because I don't want to mess it up more than it's already messing up. But you seen the Byzantine Empire, right? You seen it? That's where the Ethiopian priest, the person that wrote the Bible, the Ethiopian Bible, that's where he roamed supreme for 7 years. And I wonder why it's always 7 years, but let us continue.
More of a desert power than a naval power, the Arabs moved the capital from the coastal city of Alexandria to Fustat, a more inland city and safer from maritime attacks. After their initial successes in Egypt, the Arabs continued to expand westwards in North Africa, along the Mediterranean coast.
You see it? The Byzantine Empire, all of Europe. Okay? Now that this Byzantine, this Abba Gibbons, Abba Gurmia, excuse me. You see the Constantinople? Oh yeah, they was also related through marriage. They was also related. And I got it saved in my archives, and I'm gonna pull it up just because this when I went to go look for it, they took it down. So just know with the things that I'm saying, it's not meant for you guys to be seeing it in that understanding. It was meant for you to be under, blind eyes, to just see it and keep it pushing. But like I said before, we're going to keep uncovering and we're going to keep exposing because it's facts over beliefs. You heard? Let us continue.
The native Berbers at first fought back against the Arabs, delaying Arab through under their next caliphate, the Umayyads, and conquered all the way to the western coast and the Strait of Gibraltar.
And just by you looking at this right here, it shows that all these people are all related. All of them. You see, you see how it's all connected. They're just relatives that migrated and integrated. Okay, but when you check that blood and you check their DNA and you check who they are, when you see the social class of society, you see that they always stand side by side. All of them, the Chinese, whoever you see sitting at the UN tables, those are them. That's relatives, family. Let us continue.
Into their own storied campaigns in Europe. In the East, the ancient period was in a period of decline by the medieval age. Overuse of their farmland began the problems, but trading routes shifted from the Red Sea region to the Persian Gulf and Arabian ports. In the 800s, Aksum moved their capital inland, away from the shore, to the more mountainous regions. Aksum attempted to stay active in trade by exporting ivory, gold, perfumes, and slaves from the Amharic plateau to the south, but couldn't regain their former glory, as they were now landlocked and cut off from trading partners by the Arabs to the north. In 960, tradition states that Aksum was destroyed by Yodit, a mysterious warrior queen. The Zagwe dynasty had taken power in Aksum in the mid-1100s. They made the government more centralized and helped spread Christianity throughout Ethiopia. Christian churches and monasteries were built all over in an attempt to spread the faith in rural areas. Though
I'm gonna get back to the Ethiopia being one of the only two so-called countries within Africa that never been under European control, and you're going to see why. Let us continue.
cut off economically, they kept in contact with the Coptic Church in Egypt and the Christian communities in the Middle East. In 1270, the Solomonic dynasty took control, founding the Ethiopian Empire, which would last for centuries, even though it would always be surrounded by hostile forces, and be one of the only two African countries to have never been colonized. The coast of East Africa would reach its zenith during the medieval period. In the ancient period, this region was already booming with trade beyond the Indian Ocean, as identified in the Periplus. The Arabs had called it the land of Zanj, in reference to the darker skin of the indigenous people who inhabited the area. According to Swahili tradition, in the 700s and 800s, Arabs from the peninsula began to settle along the small islands and ports on the coast. Ivory, rhinoceros horn, and gold were shipped across the Indian Ocean, in return for ironworks, textiles from India, and porcelain from China. These regions became quite rich, quite quickly, and some of their stone palaces can still be seen in present-day Mombasa and Zanzibar. The most impressive city was said to be Kilwa, to the south. It is now in ruins, but Ibn Battuta claimed it was one of the most beautiful cities ever built. The Husuni Kubwa was a large palace with domed roofs, with a beautiful inner courtyard. Indoor plumbing was also common. The cities were generally all independent, but also exerted power over numerous smaller towns. The coastal cities would often act as intermediaries between East Asia and the interior regions of Africa as well, who utilized the ironworks and textiles. Sometimes, though, merchants on the coast would use force against the interior Africans in order to gain more products. Mombasa was reported as often being at war with the interior, but still maintained trade relations. By the 1100s, the culture was cosmopolitan, blossoming with a culture mixed from the indigenous Africans and peoples from the Arabian Peninsula and Persia. From this mix, developed a unique Swahili culture, a word from the Arabic, meaning Sahel, or coast. Intermarriage would occur between immigrants and the native population, leading to a powerful class of people of mixed heritage. Most of these upper classes had converted to Islam by this time. Another consequence was the appearance of Middle Eastern-style buildings and distinctly Arab culture in a society that was still widely African.
Here you go. Another conversion. Another conversion. Everybody's converting. Everybody's getting visions and converting. Here it go. Let us continue.
The Arabic language mixed in with the native Bantu and created a new distinct language which came to be known as Swahili. Today, it is still the national language of Kenya and Tanzania. On the other side of the continent, West Africa would be home to numerous large commercial empires. The introduction of the camel sparked the development of more efficient trans-Saharan trade routes, leading to the development of the first of the major West African empires in the 300s to 400s, the Ghana Empire. It was founded by the Soninka people, part of the Mande language family. The Ghana Empire wasn't located in present Ghana, but further north, in the grasslands of the upper Niger Valley, between the deserts of the Sahara and the tropical forests to the south. Though the camel made trade easier, the key to the development of Ghana was one of the most precious resources. In the center of the Ghana Empire was one of the richest gold-producing areas in all of Africa. Ghanaian gold was traded with Morocco to the north, and then transported all over the Old World. Ghana even became known to the Arabs as the Land of Gold. Over time, ivory, ostrich feathers, and slaves became their prime exports in the trans-Saharan trade, but the slave trade most likely began much earlier, with North African merchants selling sub-Saharan slaves across the Mediterranean. Though we don't know much about the kings of this empire, we know the capital was at Kumbi Saleh. Kings ruled by divine right, and were aided by an aristocratic class made up of heads of the different clans. They each ruled different areas, where they collected taxes and maintained order. The king was to maintain order in the whole empire, and also acted as a judge in internal disputes. The state religion was traditional African beliefs, but over time Islam would enter the region through the Berber merchants from the north. The Islamization of West Africa began slowly, with individual merchants converting. By the start of the new millennium, the Gao Empire, a newer empire established in the 800s in eastern Mali, was the first in the region to adopt Islam as the state religion. The Ghana Empire adopted Islam in 1050. The empire lasted for almost 1,000 years, but was weakened by constant wars with the Berbers. Once trading routes shifted east, the empire would lose economic hegemony as well. Ghana continued to decline, and was eventually dissolved by the 1200s. Newer states would coalesce in West Africa after the decline of Ghana, including smaller city-states like in Horsaland in northern Nigeria, and states like Kanem-Bornu and Gao, which would develop into the enormous empire of Songhai at the end of the medieval period. But the most powerful successor to Ghana would be the Mali Empire, established in 1230. Extending from the West African coast all the way inland, it encompassed the former Ghana capital of Kumbi Saleh, as well as the important trading cities of Gao and Jenne, all along the Niger River. They continued the gold trade that made the preceding Ghana Empire wealthy, but also relied more on farming, as they had access to more moist farmland. The political rulers were known as Mansa, and also acted as the religious authority. The trading, and most of the rest of commerce, was done in the bigger cities. This was led by the merchants, many of whom had converted to Islam. This was the Mali Empire's official state religion, although the rural regions kept the indigenous African traditions. The empire was one of the wealthiest states in the world during the late medieval period, and it's thought that one of its kings, Mansa Musa, was the wealthiest man to have ever lived. Mansa Musa also strengthened Islam in the empire, building mosques and bringing in scholars for Quranic studies. One of the most interesting cities to develop under Mali was the city of Timbuktu. It was founded earlier around 1100 as a caravan camp for Berber merchants and traders. Under Mansa Musa and the Mali Empire, the city became the biggest cultural center in West Africa. To the south of these West African kingdoms would be the wetter climates, home to a wide variety of states based around the tropical forests. By the modern age, this region would include the Ashanti Empire, primarily located in present-day Ghana. The Kingdom of Dahomey, in present-day Benin, known for their female warriors, and the kingdom's later role in the transatlantic slave trade. The Oyo Empire, the most powerful Yoruba state, known for their cavalry. The Kingdom of Benin, established by the Edo, in southern Nigeria, and the states of Igboland, including the Kingdom of Enri, and its famous bronze artifacts dating to the 9th century. Central and southern Africa would remain relatively stable throughout the medieval period. While there were no large empires in these regions during the ancient period, there were many non-centralized societies, ruled by local chieftains. During the medieval period, some of these societies began to coalesce into larger states, Heading south from the major West African empires, in the Congo River Valley, two new kingdoms would emerge in these rich fertile lands. The Kingdom of Luba emerged from the preceding Luba culture and had a centralized government, with appointed governors who collected tribute from the village locals. To the west, the Kingdom of Congo would also form, near the Congo River. Both would grow quite powerful over time, as they were the main polities in the region, and expanded to overtake the local pastoralist and small farmers to the south. Still further to the south and east, in the grasslands near the Zambezi River, more Bantu speakers thrived through farming, herding, and trade. The villages here were built surrounded by walls, mainly to protect their animals during the night. This was characterized by the Zimbabwe, a Bantu word meaning stone house, a society based on a plateau between the Zambezi and Limpopo rivers. It is thought that the ruins of Great Zimbabwe was the capital of this powerful kingdom. Its location was between gold reserves to the west and a river for trading to the east. During the late medieval, Zimbabwe was the most prosperous state in southern Africa, and was a major player in trade with the Swahili city-states on the coast. Great Zimbabwe rested on a hill, surrounded by its famous stone walls, and could have held more than 10,000 residents. Houses of the upper classes were built with stone and cement. The royal palace was also surrounded by large stone walls. Gold and copper ornaments have been found here, along with porcelain imported from as far away as China. Zimbabwe most likely became wealthy through their ownership of cattle and the taxes imposed on the gold passing through their region. It appears that during the 1400s, Great Zimbabwe was abandoned, most likely because of environmental factors or overgrazing.
Now I know you guys are gonna be like, you see, Jones, you see, that's the Bible right there, man. That's Jerusalem right there. That's the Bible right there. See, the kingdom of Zimbabwe, that's for real, bro. You don't know what you're talking about. Let me make this clear. I am not ever going to critique any history or act like it does not exist when it comes to African kingdoms. I believe that story. I just don't believe that it's connected to the Biblos. I don't believe that our kingdom has anything to do with that writing. I don't believe that the king that was the king of Great Zimbabwe was a David, was a Solomon, or was a Saul. I don't believe that. And not only do I don't believe it, I know this is facts. This is not no, belief story. The believing in that is when that thing was a belief story. When you don't believe in it, it's just what it is. It's just another story that was intended for people to believe in. And that's just not what we're doing anymore. We're not believing in that. So I don't never discredit the kingdoms that came out of Africa. I know that they exist. I see it in us. But what we're being told that it took place in the Biblos and that the Biblos is a story about us, no. That book, and just like every other religious book, is a book to control and prevent the Alkebulans and the Alkebulan kidnap from ever tapping into their spiritual side. And that is not what we're doing anymore. Let us continue.
African history has been difficult to fathom because many of their language families Africa to report on it, like Ibn Battuta. Furthermore, the rich oral traditions have been cut short because of the coming imperialism. Still though, modern historians are finding out more about the vast and varied African societies in this second largest continent, and not just the histories of its regions, states, and kingdoms, but deeper information about its societies, cultures, and lifestyles. Africa, unfortunately, is still seen as a monolith, but it was not only a diverse continent, it was arguably the most diverse in history. While we've mentioned many of the major states, it is estimated that the continent was home to over 10,000 distinct societies, each with their own cultures and traditions.
10,000. That means we have nothing but work to do. We got work to do, like immediately. 10,000? We got a lot of work to do. Because I'm sure every single Alkebulan kidnap is connected to one way, shape, or form to that 10,000. And it's our job to stop playing games trying to figure out Euro-Christian ideology and trying to uphold and stand by their perspectives and their requirements, and start requiring your history, and start requiring who you are, and start requiring your ancestors, and start requiring your creators. This is what we need to do. Forget everything else. Everything else is just minute. Put that to the side. Take that. Yeah, sit right here. Relax. Let's focus on this right here. We gave too much energy, generations, death, extortion, etc. We just gave too much into this ideology. It's time for us to start learning about us. And if we are 10,000 of societies, if that's 10,000, then listen, we got a lot of work to do. And the last thing that we need to do is have a dispute or a debate about their ideology or their history or their writings or their storytelling. That's not our information, nor should we even care. You know what I'm saying? For us, for them, is to just have the bare basics and the bare minimum of who they are, their intentions, their characteristics, etc., and then keep it pushing. The main goal is to focus on who the heck we are, taking advantage of what you call freedom or free time that they have awarded us through their conquering and genocide and the demolishing of people. They feel they got a little guilt trip, so they give you guys some time, and you get time, you get paid. Start taking that time and go find out who you are, go travel. That's what I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? My newborn set me back, but it's right back on task. Like, yo, we gotta travel, gotta go back to the motherland, gotta go speak to the people, gotta feel that water, gotta shake that, gotta touch that land, gotta touch that soil. We gotta do that. It's a connection to us, bro. Like I'm starting to believe that our people really feels less of themselves. They don't understand their importance. I feel like your value of self only comes under the guidelines of what religion tells you that is valuable, right? It's like somebody won't care that, you know, taking care of themselves is important, but because they devoted in the word, they're going to be devoted in the word and not break laws and do this and do that. But yeah, eat up a storm and get 7,000 pounds and get sick, bro. It's like we don't value ourselves. We just think that we're just, you know, created and just waiting for our birth, our death, and our resurrection. That's the only thing we waiting for. And that's the only thing we look for. And in reality, that's just not what it is. You feel me? It's just not. It's just not. That's not who we are. That's not how we was created. We was created. We are all one. If you look at let me show my face. If you look at how the world is put together, everything is a process that needs each other. Everything, right? Like, for example, you need gas to put in a car for the car to move, right? Humans need food or fuel for us to eat, for us to move. Like, everything is connected. Everything is one. Everything. This is why they're creating their own one world government, one world system, one this, new world order, etc., etc. There's a reason why they're doing that, because they want to mimic that power that we have naturally, that they purposely removed and started indoctrinating us for their new program, their oneness of it all, while they monitor and watch and literally operate like the creators on this earth. That's what they're doing. And you guys got to realize that. You got to see that and say, you know what? I need to function. I need to start focusing and start paying attention, because these people is really out here working their numbers. But you got to understand it. You got to know that everything is an order. Once you know your purpose, bro, life becomes, then you understand what you're supposed to do. But you minimize yourself when you put yourself so focused into an ideology and not focusing on your spirituality, knowing that your strength, your power comes from the connection of the universe. We used to walk with lions, bro. We walk with cheetahs. We walk with bears. We walk with them. There was no fear. But it's a disconnect. Because the whole entire world is out of wax. And they got out of wax when they introduced this ideology forcibly to the world. And that is what you call religion, bro. This is facts. This is just not me. You can just go down history. All wars, all this, all that. And when I say wars, I'm not talking about the in-house fighting. I'm talking about like the dominance of this world. World War I, World War II, you know, the wars in America, the Civil War. All of these things comes into the guidelines of religion, bro. The invasions, religion, bro. These people would tell you to your face that, you know, our purpose into coming into your land was God told us to come because you guys was doing heathen activities. You was doing pagan stuff, Satan, demonic stuff, and that's unacceptable. And because it's unacceptable, come eat this barbecue chicken. And if you don't want to eat it, we will slay you. And when I say barbecue chicken, I'm talking about sipping on his blood, yeah? This is what they did. And I wanted to come into, and you know what, I was watching the video with you guys, you know what came into my head? We are the ones to blame for the influx and the rapid increase of religion. We are the ones to blame. Check this out. While I was watching this video with you guys, and he was talking about Mansa Musa, how Mansa Musa, you know, invested highly into Islam. You know who else invested highly into a religion? You guessed it. King Alfonso of the Congo. Not only did he, you know, financed it and pushed it and demand that the people converted into Christianity, that man was working side by side with the Pope himself, the Vatican. Facts. He sent one of his loyal men, Emmanuel something, an ambassador. Emmanuel something. I can't remember off the top of my head. Everybody was converted into Christianity. So you get King Alfonso, then you get King Mansa Musa. Now it makes sense on how this religion flooded the land of Alkebulan. Flooded it. Now look at us. Now look at us. Begging Allah for forgiveness. Begging Allah for strength. Begging Jesus for heaven. Begging Jesus for a raise. Begging. And you got these black these con artists, these convicts, these criminals come on these platforms and teach this madness and try to tell us that the first people, the first Arabs was black. Islam comes from black people. Judaism comes from black people. Christianity comes from black people. These are what these people are saying. The criminals misleading the people, knowing damn well we ain't got no story with these people. That's the video. There's absolutely no connection with these people. This is no disrespect into people's faith, because people is going to do what they want to do. But I just want to tell you the truth, bring forth the facts, and give you a proper way to view this entire story. Because everything that they told us was a lie. Everything is a deception. Everything is a confusion. Everything is a separation. The first line of freedom comes the denouncement of their teachings, their ideologies. Black men and black women needs to teach their children how to be chameleonaires again. Just blend in. Not trying to be seen, not trying to make a scene, not trying to stand out, hide under the radar. We got to get back to that. We have to get back to that. And in that process, denouncing and being able to maneuver and manifest and move where you need to move to what you need to do to survive. But the end goal is for freedom. It ain't here for nothing. We not here for none of that. All that extra stuff, we don't want it. We want the freedom. This is what we gotta be fighting for, is the freedom. That don't stop. That don't change. It don't. But the removal of this ideology, I promise you, will give you the strength. Will give you the I feel good. My mind is clear. I no longer got the Julius Caesar mentality. I don't got that no more. All right, cool. Put that to the rest. Let me start seeking my righteousness. Let me start seeking my Alkebulan. Let me stop looking for Western teachings and professors with ideologies that, further prove that America and the Western knows it all and we're the great, and everything outside of that is trash or it's fake and it's not real, etc., or it's evil, etc. No, we gotta let that go. Put that to the side. Throw that. What we need now is a conversation. More focusing on what, no. Because once that is removed, like I said, the next phase is to be able to stand before men and talk. We can talk, guys. We can have a full-fledged conversation. And we can honestly see, I really don't got no beef with you, dog. I'm fighting for this block, this ain't mine. I'm fighting for a crack that I don't have no generational worth behind. I'm not seeing money like El Chapo. I'm just trying to get by, man. Come on, man. You the fifth hand before you get the work. You the fifth man. You the fifth person that touches the work. Anybody that's the fifth man, UPS is hiring. This is facts. UPS is hiring. But we need to have a conversation, and that conversation is gonna come. Whoop, that's gone. Yeah, let's talk. What's up? What's going on, man? Yo, you know the sky is blue, right? Yeah. You know the floor is brown, right? Yeah. You know we came off ships, right? Yeah. You know our ancestors got together, right? Yeah. You know we Alkebulan kidnapped, yeah. What you ready to do? Yeah. This is not the time to look for acceptance. That ship sailed a long time ago. You don't need no acceptance. We proved our worth. We showed the world who we are, what we capable of. Now it's time to show the world the things that we just not going to do. We're not gonna promote the fisherman activity. We're not gonna teach our children to be anything outside of being children. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna allow their system to destroy family households, put families on this plan, and and pay for this child and that child. We not like, no. We're gonna continue doing what we doing. And if they do another, and if another Black Wall Street situation occur, guess what? Not only do we repair, not only do we prepare, but yeah, we'll see you there. It's no longer, oh my gosh, this happened to them. Oh, let's pray for them. It's no longer for that. It's word, yo, what you got in your crib? Yeah, we about to link up. And I'm talking about the entire Alkebulan kidnap. I'm not talking about no Pacific region. I'm talking the entire kidnapped. That's who I'm talking to. That's what I'm talking about. We ain't here for all this extra stuff. Nah. I'm good. Nah. Eye for an eye, right? Each one, teach one, right? Treat those the way you want to be treated, right? Isn't that what you told us in the Biblos? So let us practice what we was told. You showed us in Black movies and Black TV shows that, you know what I'm saying, don't ever let a nigga disrespect you. That's what you told us. Don't ever let a nigga disrespect you. Oh, you thought it was just to see it like that for us. Oh no. We don't move like that. Alkebulans, I hope you're not moving like that. Why are we moving like that? And again, this ain't no shot at, you know what I'm saying, the regular Joe Blow, the lover man. This ain't for you. This ain't a disrespect to you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the Euros are just reaping the benefits of ancestral work. This ain't for you. We talking about those that's sitting in those seats that creates more rules and regulations that only affects the poor. I'm talking about those. I'm not worrying about the Joe Blow. No, you the least of my worries. And when I say the least of my worries, I mean you the least of my worries. No disrespect, but it's bigger than at this point in 2024, which is gonna be 2025 in a couple of days. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than everything. And in reality, you feel me? Nah, ain't going down like that. Things are gonna be done different. I hope you guys got some questions. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the real deal. Like at the end of the day, listen, at the end of the day, people, the objective is to being able to walk into a community of ours where there's no violence, being able to walk amongst each other and literally be happy. Like, we possess that. The only reason why we operate in the way that we operate in now, this is taught behavior. Naturally, we possess that. And at the end of the day, that's what we want. Our land, our people, our women having, pure breeded children. You know what I'm saying? None of the contam, none of that. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect, but none. Like, restoring order. It's a very important thing that needs to be done. Very important. Because we as individuals, as the Alkebulan kidnap, we are really under attack. And you guys don't see it, but I do. I do. Not only do I see it, but you can feel it. And if we don't get into this phase, like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. We don't get to the phase where we could sit down amongst men and reason and say, yeah, I gotta do that. If our women don't see each other as sisters and not competition, if our brothers see each other as brothers and not competition, realizing what's going on and realizing, yo, son, we really in here for a reason, bro. Don't let yourself tap out on enemy lines. You telling me you risking yourself to be removed off this earth on enemy lines? You telling me you rather do that than get a chance to feel home? That's crazy. That's crazy. But man, yeah. It's another. So this is another what they call that? Another evidence placed right before me that's gonna allow me to tell you that, do we find this guilty? And the answer is absolutely yes. Now, is there a kingdom? Is there kingdoms in Africa? Absolutely. Was we kings, queens, princesses, hard workers, laborers, slavers, servants? Absolutely. We all was something, but what we wasn't a Euro Christian. And that's all I want you guys to understand. And the only thing that justify us being Euro Christian is the Biblos. And what's everybody's argument is that this is the word of God and the God changed not. But if God changed not, then why every single year, 3 to 4, 5 years, or even months, there's a brand new style of Biblos. There's a brand new Biblos that's out. Changing words. Don't tell me God changed not. He's changing right there. And why haven't God's word healed yet? Why hasn't God's word connect us back to him directly? How come the word of God is not allowing me to talk to God directly? How come he's not talking to you directly? How come it's a he? How come it's not a she? How come it's not them? How do we know? How do we know? How? How do we know that we're doing the right thing? How? Who told you that what you're doing right now is the right thing? What's your justification? The word? Who put this word together? Don't tell me it was taken from somewhere else. If it was taken from somewhere else, then show it to me. You cannot come into a hypothesis without even seeing, scientific work. You got to see something. Just one, bro. You got to show me one thing. Just show me one thing. One thing. That shows. And I'm not talking about little words and little names. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a full-fledged unedited writings of our people in our language being taken and rewritten and compiled together and gave us 66 books, which is 66 alone, lets you know what time it is. And in this 66 book, it's going to talk about Yahweh, Yah, Lord, Jesus, God, Almighty, Elohim. And you're going to tell me that we're going to then remove those and put a name of African dialect? What? No. What we need to do is start going searching for the actual writings. And somebody got to sacrifice in being the greatest ass kisser so you can get access to this so-called Vatican that got over 2,000 square miles of work and information, yeah? Somebody got to work hard to get down there. And then your God is gonna, turn that person's heart, and that person is gonna then start telling the truth and then give directions and take pictures and declassify. You know how the game go. But yet, still haven't seen anything. So which means that what you're saying and what we have been saying is just a hope. Have hope. And the only people that want to have hope is for those that live their life hopeless. Those are the ones that desire hope. It's the ones that live their life hopeless. I'm no longer hopeless. I'm focused. I'm focusing on who I am, focusing on who you are, focusing on my ancestors, focusing loving myself, focusing on loving my children, focusing on just being a better me. Because we're not going to act like we're not jacked up. Like we are out here perfect. Like we're not making mistakes. Like we're not slipping. And no matter how much knowledge and history and ideology or whatever you know, just know that if you're not in order, it's still not going to show. Still not going to grow. And the goal is you got to get ourselves in order. How do we fix such problems? How do we fix what's going on? How do we stop? How do we stop being at last place? And it comes with letting go of this ideology. And the minute you let go of it and you say, I'm good, is the minute the world's going to say, understood. But yeah, let me see. My bad, guys. My bad. Let me see if you guys got something to say, man. Oh. Let me see if you guys got any questions, please. Oh. Peace, sis. Hey, Keith, we outside with it, man. But like I said, if you got questions and you need some answers to, let me know. You know what I'm saying? I'm still for the people. I'm always for the people. We're just not supporting the evil. You know? This is justice now. We want justice. We want our crowns back. We want our robes back. We want to govern our own. We want to judge our own. We want to represent us. We don't need no more representations of us. But in order to stand there in confidence, we must first learn us, know where we come from, know what was given to us, knowing what was forced on us, knowing what lie was told to us, knowing what we're being said to distract us and lead us astray. You got to pay attention to stuff like that. These are the things that you got to start paying attention to. Got to know. Because I know. And not only do I know, I want my land back. I want my name back. I don't know what a Lewis is. I don't know what that is. I know what a Junes is because my mama gave me that. My father gave me that. I know what that is. I don't know nothing else. I don't want anything else outside of who I am, what I am, where I stand. Oh yeah, the 7 God names. Oh, you see? See? Thank you. Okay, let me see if I can pull this up. Hold on. Hold on, bro. Thank you. Word. Shout out to you. Hold on. Let me get this out. See? Appreciate you, man. Get this. Hold on. I gotta find out where I put it. My bad. Nah, it's not this one. It's not that one. Give me a second. Okay, is it this one? Okay, I think it's this one right here. Okay, yeah, I think it's this one right here. Okay. It's this one. Let me. Hold on. Why does it show me all of this? That's not what I asked for. Damn, I be asking all these questions? Sheesh. No, it's not this one. Oh, there we go. Alright. So let me screenshot this. Let me screenshot this. So I can put this on my screen. So let me screenshot this. So I can put this on my screen. Let me screenshot this. Okay. Alright. Uh-huh. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, from my recent studies and the Dictionary of the Gods. I don't know where I put that book. I think I put it back in the book on my bookshelf. But in that book, I got a chance to look at Ogun. And is Ogun and Oshun. Ogun, Oshun. Ogun, Oshun. Ogun, Oshun. The reason why I've been looking into these 2 gods has been because they are the gods or the deities that the people of Haiti was connecting to when they was getting their freedom and fighting 14-year fight, and it was won by them calling on these gods. And I'm gonna show you, and let me see if I can share my screen. Hold on.
Ancient Africa was home to 4 major language families, like
made in history. Thank you for your services. Appreciate everything that you've done. And yeah, you know, we'll be back to see you again shortly. If you bring forth all that information, then you know we outside with it. But other than that, thank you for your work, and see you on another time. I'ma holla. Word. You know, you gotta give these people their flowers, man. You know what I'm saying? Listen, just doing content is a lot of work. So I know. Hold on. Pull this up. All right. So I asked my assistant. Y'all guys know who my assistant is. And she always delivers. And I'm never mad. I'm not gonna lie. Hold on. Hold on. Let me take these things off my screen so I can just share my screen one time. There we go. So on my picture, as you guys know, I just put it up a picture. So I sent this to my assistant. And I said, yo, I need a breakdown of all these figures in these pictures, please. Right? She know what I need. And it says this image shows figurines representing the 7 African powers. Okay? 7 African powers. The number 7 and 9 is very powerful unto us. If even if you look at the shape of Africa, it looks like the number 7 or the number 9, depending on how you look at it. But the number 7 is very important to us. It's a group of deities from Yoruba spirituality and synthetic practices of Santeria, Kendubali, and similar Afro-diaspora. We know it's not religion. Here's a breakdown of each figure as depicted in the image. So you got the Orula, right, or the Onumalea. Represents wisdom, knowledge, and divination, often depicted as the figure with a tray used for afa divination, associated with the ability to foresee and guide spiritual journeys. So a lot of us have this with us. You know, you can tell your future. Okay. Now again, number 2 is Ogun. Okay. This is what people in Haiti, which is my ancestral background. This is what they was focusing on. They was calling on they was calling on 2 deities, but one of it was this. And as you can see, is the deity of war, iron, and labor, protector of warriors, blacksmith, and laborers, typically depicted with tools or weapons symbolizing strength and right? Preservedness, right? The Congo, the Kango, or the Congo, or the Shango, excuse me, or Shango. Now, for those that watched wrestling back in the days when it was WWF, there was a man named Chango. That was his name, right? The deity of thunder, lightning, and fire, known for his fiery temper, passion, and leadership, often depicted with a double-headed axe representing justice and power. Okay? Then we had number 4, the Obatala, the deity of peace, purity, and wisdom, creator of humanity, and associated with compassion and fairness. So the people sometimes think that this is the creator's name. Obatala. Black Girl Magic, look into that. Obatala. Look into that for me. Matter of fact, I'm a, why did it just do that? Why did it just do that? Why did it just do that? All right. Anyway, then this is the, like I said, is the deity of peace. Okay, so this is, see, it says represented in white, symbolizing purity and tranquility, right? Now you got the Yemaya, the mother of ocean and nurturing protector of life, associated with the motherhood, fertility, and the sea, depicted as a mermaid or with water-related symbols. Okay, um, this I can't say. Forgive me if I say it wrong. Algulia, the deity of crossroads, beginning, and opportunities, guardian of path and communications between the divine and the human world, often depicted as the mischievous child or elder. Okay, now Oshun, see, I said Ogun and Oshun. This is what this is what's being done in I say Africa, in Haiti at those times, right? These things are still practiced till this day as well, right? Oshun, the deity of love, beauty, and rivers, representing femininity, sensually, and fertility, associated with gold, depicted with bright, warm colors like yellow and orange. So there's a lot of my sisters, and I got a sister that's on my TikTok, and she does this. You know, she have her shrines. She has her that color. She's always in yellow. She's always wearing white. She's always wearing gold. She's always wearing something of that nature all the time. And it's like, okay, I hear you. You feel me? But it's a lot more. But you know, there's just these are just basics of gods that we used to call on, that our ancestors call on. And maybe you guys should just, when you run the tape back, or reach out to me, and I give you guys, you know, some I give you guys the names. I'm about to say some homework. You know what I'm saying? Give you guys the names, and then you look into it and hopefully find what you need to find. And like I said, there's over 10,000 societies. All of us got work to do. And if you believe in the Euro-Christian ideologies, and this is gonna happen, and that is gonna happen, and that and that and that and that, then you're gonna be part of the problem. Then you're never gonna get the answer done. You're never gonna get the job done. You're never gonna get nothing done. You're just going to continue walking around this treadmill until you get old, and then you die, and then you're gonna pass this same ideology to your child, and he's gonna do the same thing over and over until something horrific happens like 2020. And when those things occur, then you're going to see the divine order. Okay? But other than that, like I said, you know, this is just the nonsense that we got to deal with, people. Okay? What? I lost my train of thought too. I'm tired, guys. I'm sorry. I've been up all day. So for me, I've been focusing on the Oshun, and I've been focusing on the Ogun. Oshun, Ogun, Oshun, Ogun, Oshun, Ogun. Because why? Because to me, and according to Mama Love, and according to, you know, just people in the land, it's a divine order. Oshun and Ogun. You know what I'm saying? For me, just the divine order. I'm focusing on the divine order. I know once our demise, I know where our strength lies. I know where our protection lies. I know once you know these things, those understandings, those three things that I mentioned, that's when you're going to see how things make sense. And just to throw this out there, because I'm about to conclude. Black Girl Magic, I listen to your notes. I got you. I'm gonna reach out to you. a lot going on, and then it's not just you. I come to the realization that a lot of people has been, what you call it, under attack. And it's not attacking you spiritually, so they say. This is more like a mental thing, where, you know what I'm saying, a lot of us is mentally fatigued. You know, a lot of us is still under the ways, the Caesar ideology. So things like, you know, when it's coming towards the end of the year, you know, your body's automatically on reset mode, right? It's hitting that point, and it's just, you know, you counting down the time and the days, right? And then Happy New Year. And then, you know, even seeing the change in that changed the mind frame as well. Went from typing in, you know, today's date and starting it with 2024 and having to write that for 12 months to all of a sudden put in 2025. A lot of times it changes a lot of things. So these are the things that we're seeing, you know, nowadays. So, you know, just understand that we're going to always be in a space where things don't make sense, because we're in a time where things don't make sense. But you have to always, and I repeat, people, you have to always understand that when you focus in on what you got to focus on, everything else is really irrelevant. And what I mean by that is, right, you got to focus on priority. Then you got to focus on spirituality, because you do need a strength, because we are in the battlefield and we are being exposed by a lot of things, from the food to the air to the TV to the phone to the writings to the words to the talking. All of these things have, you know, rituals behind it, spells behind it, that's literally designed to keep us in a state of anger, depression, you know, doubtfulness and hopeless. You know, that's why you always look for hope, for somebody to come and redeem you psychologically. You understand? So when you realize those things, and you gain your understanding of spirituality, and you put that for you, and you know that these things are designed to, you know, destroy the mind. You understand? Like, we have the strength, we have the power, we have what it takes, but we're so far gone from our connection. Because as you can see, we got 7 powers that override, that look for us. You know, for the thunder, then you had it for the war, then you had it for the beauty, then you had it for this, you had it for that. We had all these things at our hands, at our grasp, and we understood it. That when certain things was going on, we knew to reach to them and gain the proper wisdom, or reach to the elders, those of old, those of renown, and they gave us this understanding, and then the understanding, you know, gave us strength, gave us power, gave us a reason. You understand? And the only way you're gonna get that, the only way we're gonna get that is by tapping in. And yes, it's gonna be a journey. Yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's going to be, you know, days you are alone where, you know, things are going to start making sense. You know, like I tell people, you know, when you're walking down this path of facts, you know, a lot of times if you're not strong and you know how to just brush certain things off, that a lot of things is going to be unveiling to you, where it's like, yo, wow, hold up, wait a minute, nah, hold up. Wait a minute. Nah, hold up. You're going to say that so much because you're just going to see so much of it in an abundance. You understand? And when you reach the level that I've been in, or if I've been sitting in for so long, sometimes, you know, it gets there. You know what I'm saying? But you got to keep loved ones around. You got to keep somebody that's the opposite of you. See, my Wiz, she's a listener. So when I'm in my vent mode, and we be having in-depth conversations too, by the way. And you know, she don't want to be seen. She want to be behind the scenes. So it is what it is. But we be having phenomenal conversation, and it's like, if the world was just able to just hear, you know, young, and I don't want to say educated, the young black understanding, black acknowledgement, black knowledge, black wisdom, you know, understanding of self, you know, denouncement from the ideologies, right? Being able to look at on someone at their face and tell, and being able to identify who they are. You understand? That right there, when you have that, it's phenomenal. You know? Phenomenal. So that's, at the end of the day, that's just what we need. We just need, you know, that I need a ride or die chick. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I got for you guys. Let me see if there's any more questions before I conclude. Who's calling me, man? Let me see if there's any more before I conclude. Okay, hold on. Where is this thing at? So everything is here but that. Let me pull this up. Why would you do that? Yeah. Oh, I will definitely send you. I'll put her on one of these days. She gotta be up to it. She's on her motherly time. You know what I'm saying? She's more focused on making sure little man is, you know, raised accordingly and get that balanced nutrition that's needed in order for a young man to survive in this captivity. So, you know, she really don't be having the time like that. But, you know, you never know. She did consider, I'm saying this now, guys, she did consider having a podcast without the video. So if she's willing to do that, I got plenty of mics, you know what I'm saying? And we can speak, I speak, and definitely have the in-depth conversations. Yeah, and she'll definitely be able to give you some advice. You know, she does what I do. She works with all type of demographics of people. You know what I'm saying? She's part of the life coaching team. If you guys want a female life coach, holla at the LLC, and you can get whatever you need. All you gotta do is holla. You know, the price remains the same. Okay? We got female workers as well. It's not just me that's doing it. We got a whole team. Okay? And my wife is part of that team. So if you want my wife, then you know, you let me know, and then I'll run it by her, because like I said, she's on pregnancy leave, right? And when she's part of the family owned business, her pregnancy leave might just be a long time until further notice, right? But I definitely got you. You know, I'll keep you posted. Remind me, be like, yo, big bro, did you ask her? Remind me so I can run it to her. Other than that, you know, we just working. But again, people, this is my time. It was phenomenal. It was wonderful. I appreciate you guys from always tuning in, I should say. Subscribing, sharing this to the newcomers. Welcome. Hope you guys are prepared for the stuff that I be talking about. You know what I'm saying? You get the facts. We moving away from the beliefs. We going back to common sense. Let's go, people. Common sense. That's why a lot of times I talk for a long period of time, so you guys can comprehend the common sense, because it seems like you guys have lost that. And because of religion, we on a mission, and we're going to keep kicking doors down until you guys listen. Okay? Okay. So again, anytime, sis. For you guys, continue supporting, continue liking, Continue sharing. This is the first of many, and we outside. Look, if it's your first time, I hope it's not your last time. If it's your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time, that means we still on that grind because it's about that time. You see it? Yeah, it's about that time for you to go get yours. Go get your crown. Go get your robe. Go get your Anaki. You know what I'm saying? And no, I'm not into the Egyptian and stuff like that. It's in Africa. I support it. I don't want to hear nothing. And the people that's saying that it's evil and wicked are the same ones that's doing the evil and wicked to us. And from the understanding and the studies that I know about this right here, this is the uterus of a woman. And this right here, this is the end of a man. And when they come together, it represents life. It represents order. It represents one. Okay? So for those that don't know who I am him, Jones, the MBIC, aka Mr. I am him. Okay? Keep my foot on you heathens, Hebrews, Hedonites, Israelites, Bantu Nights, isms, Judaism, Hebrewisms, and every other isms that's keeping us in spiritual prison. I'm the one to keep my foot on that neck. Are you dumb? Or are you dumb? And I'ma holler at y'all. One.